Hi guys, this is your girl Wakeji Kamore and welcome to Reflections by Wakeji Kamore. Today we are going to be looking at Psalms chapter 17. And before I read the psalm, I'm going to just give you like a small background of what was happening in this chapter, or rather what was happening in the life of David when he wrote this chapter. And if you haven't read the chapter, please pause again, be obedient, pause the recording, read the chapter, engage with the chapter for yourself before you listen to the summary and before you listen to me reading it word for word. That way you get more enriched and you get more lessons, you just get more. Right. So according to my research on the probable occasion, which, when each psalm was composed, Psalm 17 was composed during the time when a guy named Doeg, murdered some priests. This story can be found in the book of 1 Samuel chapter 22, which is a story that we've already gone through in this Bible summary. So let me give you the story. So during one of those times when David was fleeing from King Saul, he went to a guy called Ahimelech. Ahimelech was the 12th high priest of Israel. And in the temple, David found solace. Ahimelech prayed to God for David's sake, and then he even handed over Goliath's sword to David. And he also got food supplies for all of David's men. Ahimelech was really a man of God. So when Doeg, who was the chief headsman to King Saul, learned of this, he reported to his boss, of course, King Saul, who then ordered him to kill the priests. And so Doeg, the Edomite, went and killed 85 priests on that specific day. Because, David had found solace in the temple. And so the high priest and even I don't know whether the high priest was killed. I need to check that. But he came and killed 85 priests from that temple. So with this in mind, let us read the book of Psalms chapter 17. I'm going to be reading from the English Standard Version. I'm going to read word for word, and then I'm going to share what did my lessons from the Lord have been from this chapter. So it says, in the shadow of your wings. That is the title of the chapter. It says a prayer of David. This one is specifically a prayer. It doesn't say a psalm, it says a prayer. He says, hear a just cause, O Lord, attend to my cry. Give ear to my prayer from lips free of deceit. From your presence, let my vindication come. Let your eyes behold the right. You have tried my heart, and you have visited me by night. You have tested me, and you will find nothing. I have purposed that my mouth will not transgress. With regards to the works of man, by the words of your lips, I have avoided the ways of the violent. My steps have held fast to your paths. My feet have not slipped. Which is basically saying David hasn't done anything wrong. I call upon you, for you will answer me, O God. Incline your ear to me and hear my words. Wondrously show your steadfast love, O Savior of those who seek refuge, from the adversaries at your right hand. Keep me as the apple of your eye. Hide me in the shadow of your wings, from the wicked who do me violence, my deadly enemies who surround me. So you can imagine the heaviness as he's writing this. Priests are being killed. Like the place where he'd found solace in this temple, the priests have been killed. Then verse 10, it says, they close their hearts to pity. With their mouths they speak arrogantly. They have now surrounded our steps, and they set their eyes to cast us to the ground. He is like a lion eager to tear, a young lion lurking in ambush. Arise, O Lord, confront him, subdue him. Deliver my soul from the wicked by your sword. From men by your hand, O Lord, from men of the world whose portion is in this life. You fill their wombs with treasure. They are satisfied with children, and they leave their burdens to their infants. As for me, verse 15, which is the last verse, as for me, I shall behold your face in righteousness. When I awake, I shall be satisfied with your likeness. It's amazing. So this psalm is another plea from David to God for vindication and protection from enemies. David was trying to live an upright and righteous life, but he was surrounded by evil men who didn't fear God, and so David asked God to confront them and subdue them. In light of these events, just the fact that, Doeg was killing priests, what do you think was David's request? What did he want to see God do? For me, the bottom line is that he wanted God to defend him and to rescue him. And isn't this precisely what we want when we are under extreme pressure from hostile people, from the hostilities of life itself? When the fire begins to burn, our main desire is usually to escape. And from David's life, we know that at the end, David had victory over all his enemies. The Lord rescued him, and the Lord will rescue us. However, the verse that caught my attention is verse 15, the last verse, and it says, "As for me, I shall behold your face in righteousness. When I awake, I shall be satisfied with your likeness." This was David's way to say, though pressures abound, though evil looks like it's flourishing, as for me, I shall gaze, I shall focus my mind, I shall focus my thoughts upon your glorious and perfect face. And when I awake, it says, when I awake in that verse, this means when I arise from this night of death, it will be your presence, O Lord, and how I have been shaped into your likeness that will fill me with unsurpassed joy. I think it takes a different level to go through troubles and say, even when pressures abound, I shall focus and look at your glory. I shall focus at your righteousness. And even when it is done, when the dust settles, I shall be happy, not because the dust has settled, but I shall be happy because I have been shaped in your likeness. Can that be said of us? That when God rescues us from trouble, that we are happy about his presence filling us, that we are happy about the season of trouble and how it made us Christ-like. That we are even happier, or are we just happy that the problem has come to an end? Which one are you more happier about? Honestly, I think I'm usually happy about the fact that the problem has come to an end. But I'm feeling so challenged to take a pause, to sit and think and thank God for the spiritual growth that occurs when I go through hard times. Let us not be too quick to just thank him for rescuing us without stopping to learn and to see the lessons and the growth that has come from that season that we've just come from. If you've come from a difficult season, I know it's great that the difficult season has come to an end. But we are challenged. David has challenged us here. He's challenged us that first, when the season of hardness is going on, the season of pressure, evil, wickedness, hard times is going on, that we should focus our mind. We should set our mind and our focus and our thoughts to behold the face of God's righteousness. And when all the dust settles, that we should be satisfied with your likeness. We should be satisfied by the fact that season has shaped us and made us Christ-like. That is such a challenge, honestly, for me. I don't think I usually sit to think, oh my God, that season made me grow. That season made me, become this better. And sometimes over time, you can be able to see the growth and your spiritual growth. But after the hard time, we don't necessarily sit down to say, okay, what did that season teach me? Or, okay, what did I learn? Or how did I grow from this point to this point, just by going through that hard time that I've gone through? It is my prayer. And I'm challenging you guys to just sit and think about the spiritual growth that occurs when we go through hard times. Thank you so much for listening, and see you tomorrow.